right now going on in this world, but that little precious drop of blood that He gave, all that blood that He poured on Calvary has washed them all away. Every one of them. It's happened before and it will happen hereafter. That blood that He did, do we recognize that? Do we realize that tonight? That's the only reason we're here, because of Him. That's the only reason we have an opportunity tonight. If you have anything, it's because of what He did. We could go into great details about it, but we need not to. How the Old Testament was and how they went in with the sacrifices of animals, but the precious blood. It took blood then as much as it does now. It takes blood. It takes the precious blood of Jesus that'll override any animal we could sacrifice, anything that we can do. But we got to recognize that. But something we better understand is, like He said, for all flesh is as grass, and the all glory of man is flower. The grass wildereth, and the flower thereof falleth away. You know, how many of you can remember your great-great-great-great-great-grandpa? How many even know their name? I don't. Don't have what they even did. I don't go on that Ancestry.com and know most of them. The only one I know is my great-grandpa was Morgan Breeding. That's as far back as I know. Don't know nothing about the man. Don't have a clue. Don't know if he served the Lord. But if he did, he wildereth away. If he did any glory for God, it was like a flower that faded away. What's he saying? It's not that God forgets it, but man forgets it. And what I'm telling you this is that you can do 1,000 good things for a family. You can do 1,000 good things for people. But you let one bad thing be said about you, whether it be true or not. And it's somehow, ain't it amazing how those 1,000 good things can be forgotten? Ain't it amazing how they can be erased? How people can forget the great works that Elijah did? Even through life of every day, that we need to understand what Elijah went through and how great powers that God used this man in, but he still made a mistake, and God said, what are you doing over Elijah? And how we can learn through, even if this man can call down fire and do these great things and make mistake, my God, how much can God love me too? And still use him and say, come over here. You got to get Elisha. And you're going to give him double portion. Come on. Bring that man with you. You're going to raise him up, and he's going to be your predecessor. It's going to keep going forward. Do we realize these things in our life? Do we recognize what's going on in our life? But God will never forget you. God will always remember us. Man may forget us. Man may let us go. Man may forget everything about us and never recognize our greats. And if the generations go on, which I really don't, I think we're in the last days, but only God knows when the last days are going to come. It may be 10 more generations. I really don't think that my future, whatever, how many grandsons that may be and granddaughters are going to remember me. They ain't going to remember the great things that maybe I've done for someone or somebody else, or how I've been up in the middle of hours praying for the church, or how I've been up go visit these people in the middle of the night and be there with them or whatever. And who knows, Morgan Breeding, my great-grandpa, may have done the same thing. I don't know. But he wildereth away. And his glory, it fell away. See what I'm talking about? And how these things are forgotten. But thank God that precious blood is never forgotten. Thank God that the Spirit of God is never forgotten, and this Word will never, never die. They can burn every Bible they can find. They can take every Bible they want to, and they can throw it away and rip it into shreds as much as they want to. But this Word can never, ever die. It can never be gone away. The precious blood can never be taken away. Never be gone. It's always going to be established and be a connection between us and God for eternity. Or it's going to be the dividing line for those who don't make it. It will be the dividing that people who reject the precious blood of the Lamb. And tonight we better leave here realizing that we really do not know. what we think we know, or convinced, in other words? Do we know that all things work together for the good? Do we really know that? Are we really convinced that? If so, then why are they frowns, and why are they down us, and why are we entering these gates with praise and thanksgiving for this precious blood that this man named Jesus done for us? For this precious things that He did for us. This beating that this lamb that was silent, that stood there and took the things that they did to Him and had the power to destroy every one of them instantly. All He had to say was, "Come," and it was over. All He had to do was say, "I've had enough," and it's over. But He stood in the gap for you and me. He stood there for us that we could have the gifts of God and be manifested. But we're allowing things to hinder us, people. We're allowing things to destroy us, but that we do not get the power in that blood. We do not get it. We will wilder away, we will fade away, and people will forget about us in the situations. Hey, I forget about my mom most of the time. It was March the 3rd. I was just thinking the other day when she died, and I just remembered it like March the 10th. And I was like, man, God, when you do something, you do it great. When you make us forget grieving, you certainly do it. I didn't even remember on March the 3rd that she died. But see, these things don't come to us. People wildereth away. Things fall away. But God's precious blood and the Word will never fade away. And we better recognize this and realize this and quit letting things hinder us. It's hindering us. Quit letting the enemy use things against us and use the Word for us instead of against us. Use the precious blood for ourselves instead of the enemy use it against us. Saying that we have nothing or we've got nothing when you've got everything that you need and you're equipped with everything that you need. God will never place you into a circumstance that you're not prepared for, that you're not able to win, that you're not able to come. If you've lost a situation, you lost a battle, it was you, it was not God. And we better recognize that. We need to recognize that this Word will never die. The things of God will never die. But we better be grabbing a hold of everything that He's trying to teach us and take hold with encouragement and realize that we are not totally convinced that all things will work to good. We are not fully persuaded of these things. And the only way we're going to come to that place is like He said, we need to come to love. We need to come with brotherly love and intent and start to grow in this area. You know, you don't instantly, I know that there's an instant attraction most of the time to the one that you're attracted to. There's something about that person that when you look eye to eye, there's something about them. But is it instant love? Most of the time I think it has to build. As you learn and grow and understand one another and build a relationship. Well, it's the same thing with each one of us. We got to build a relationship and build one another and learn about one another and grow with one another and learn to push away things that the enemy tries to bring to divide us, that we can come in one. And we can become everything that He wants us to become. And learn that precious blood and those powers and gifts that God has placed inside of us to be used them to help our brothers and sisters. Remember what we've told you. You must be free, then you become a servant, then you get gain from God's what Paul said. That's the exact ways he said it. But are we really free if we are not convinced that all things work to the good? Are we really free? Are we really free from everything if we're not 100% convinced that God is in control of everything going on around us and He's working it all out for our advantage and to our good, and He is continuing to let us be in a circumstance because He's trying to show us something, and we're rejecting the potter's hands? That we're rejecting what God is trying to do to show us, hey, you got a little pride in there or something, and we're rejecting it. We're rejecting what God is saying, and we want to put the blame to someone else. We want to stick the blame to some other situation. But it's time that we get encouraged and uplifted about this precious blood and what was spilled on Calvary. What He done for us on Calvary. And I encouraged you before, and I want to encourage you again. Get up every day recognizing what this man done for you and me. recognizing what He paid for and recognizing this so that we could grow into a confident relationship with Him, that we are convinced, that we know that all things will work out to good.